They say the soul shows up in every part of the body, but there's a spot hidden from plain sight and overlooked by modern thinking, where the spirit gathers, is shaped, and transforms. It's not in your head or your heart. It's right at the center of your physical self, just behind your belly button. Have you ever noticed a strange warmth in your stomach when you felt inspired, a tight knot when you were nervous, or a strong surge when you realized a truth? That's not a coincidence. That spot holds an energy center, known by ancient cultures as the Cauldron of inner fire, the subtle furnace where your vital energy is born, refined, and lifted up. Ancient traditions didn't ignore this place. They honored it. In Taoism, it's called the lowerdantian, the field of the elixir. Yogis connect it to the Manipura chakra, the center of power. Internal alchemists saw it as the home of the sacred fire that turns raw instinct into conscious awareness. You carry this center with you every moment, but today, that wisdom is mostly forgotten. The body reduced to just muscle and bone, the belly button to a meaningless scar. Yet right there lies a gateway, a crack in bodily time, where you can awaken your creative energy, ignite your sacred will, and transform your experience from the inside out. This video invites you to remember that lost center, to return to the fire of origin, to breathe inward and awaken the internal cauldron. We won't talk about typical anatomy here, but sacred anatomy, not what science maps out, but what the soul senses. We'll explore the spiritual meaning of the abdominal center, its role in conscious creation, how it aids energetic healing, and why it's a powerful hub for manifestation. You'll learn why your belly button isn't just a birthmark, but a living doorway to mystery. How can you unlock its power through breath, intention, and awareness? This is a journey back to the energetic core where life first began, where you were nourished before you even breathed on your own, where spirit takes form, and where, if you know how, you can light the fire that heals, creates, and transforms. Because behind your belly button is more than just organs. There's a sacred furnace, and inside you carries the spark. Since the dawn of humanity, wise cultures have known the body is more than just flesh and bones. It's a miniature universe, a living temple where the elements come together to forge the soul. At the heart of that temple is a power point that's been honored, called upon, and cultivated as the true center of transformation, the energy space behind the belly button. Taoist sages mapped this area carefully, naming it the dantian, or lower cinnabar field, an alchemical reference to the fire lit in the lower belly. This wasn't just any energy point, it was the inner lab where spiritual immortality took shape. Here the yin, our vital essence, was nurtured, then transformed into qi, and finally into shen, the spiritual light. No spiritual growth can stand without strengthening this cauldron, they said. The yogis from India called it Manipura, the shining jewel. It's the third chakra, linked to fire, personal power, will, and the digestion not just of food, but also emotions and experiences. Manipura is the seat of the inner fire that burns away ignorance, apathy, and fear, turning them into clarity, purpose, and conscious action. When this chakra shines bright, a person becomes the master of their own destiny, the ruler of their reality, and the sovereign of their energy. In European alchemy, this area was known as the crucible, the furnace where impure metals were purified by fire. The digestion furnace was the internal symbol of energy transformation. It was said that those who kept a constant heat in their belly could start the inner alchemical process, turning vital energy into the philosopher's gold, awakened consciousness. Even in Mesoamerican shamanic traditions, the belly button held deep meaning. It was the power center, the connection point to Mother Earth and ancestors, the source from which energy flows to create, heal, and protect. The ancient Nahua believed the Teotl, the sacred force that creates and transforms, lived in the navel of the universe and the human being alike. Interestingly, the belly button is also our first connection to life. The umbilical cord that linked us to our mother's body was where we got nutrients, oxygen, and life itself before we had lungs or words. So it's not just a scar, it's a mark of origin, a gateway to the cosmic source that formed us. But over time, this knowledge was lost. Rational thinking broke the body down into organs and systems, and the belly's energy center was reduced to intestines and muscles. Nobody talks anymore about the fire burning inside, or teaches how to relight it. Yet it's still there, sleeping but alive, waiting to be awakened by sacred attention. To see the belly button as a cauldron is to bring body and spirit back together, to realize your center isn't in your head or even your chest, but in that quiet core where spirit takes form, where life's experiences are digested, and where real creative power grows. Those who awaken this center don't just heal and grow stronger, they start to radiate a new kind of presence, magnetic, clear-willed, a flame that doesn't burn but lights the way. Behind the belly button is the furnace of the ancients, and whoever sparks it remembers who they truly are. Not all fires burn with visible flames. Some, like the one behind your belly button, burn quietly inside, and their heat doesn't burn. It awakens. For those on the path of consciousness, learning to ignite that fire isn't just a technique, it's an initiation. We have to move past the surface-level view of the body, because what happens in the lower belly isn't just physical. It's a crossroads between the physical, emotional, and spiritual. This center, sometimes called the vital power core, is like an internal stove where the energy we take in, from food, air, emotions, even thoughts, is transformed. In practice, activation starts with mindful belly breathing. Most adults breathe shallowly from the chest and in a rush, but our bodies are meant to take the deepest breaths, right there in the belly. As you naturally inhale, your diaphragm moves downward, gently pressing your internal organs and stimulating the energy zone of the dantian or manipura, creating movement, flow, and warmth. But breathing alone isn't enough. The key is focusing your awareness. With each breath in, hold a clear intention. I am lighting my fire. You might picture a glowing sphere of golden light expanding and contracting just behind your belly button, or a small flame feeding on each breath like you're gently blowing on glowing embers. This inner fire isn't just a metaphor. With practice, you start to feel a warm, pulsing, almost magnetic sensation, a subtle pressure that isn't painful but noticeable. It's a sign that your awareness has reached that sleeping core and that your vital energy is starting to move. Some ancient teachers called this point the inner sun. Just like the outer sun gives life to plants, the sun in your belly gives life to your soul. When this sun lights up, a natural cleansing process kicks in. Your mind quiets, fear fades, doubt disappears, because all that stuff literally cooks in this energetic furnace. This process also helps balance giving and receiving. People with an extinguished cauldron often feel powerless, low in self-esteem, and emotionally reactive. Those who light it up reclaim their center, relating to the world from presence instead of lack. It's important to say this center isn't only for spiritual masters or monks. It's active, though dormant, in everyone. Working with it doesn't make you someone new. It helps you become who you truly are before life's noise pulled you off center. Waking up the cauldron isn't just about feeling warmth. It's about reclaiming your inner power for emotional digestion, focused will, and energy creation. When your fire burns, your actions have roots, your words have purpose, and your decisions stop depending on outside forces. The journey to activate the belly center is really a journey home. It means stopping the endless chase around the world and starting to revolve around yourself, like a sun remembering how to shine from within. Once the cauldron behind your belly button is lit, nothing stays the same. Your body shifts, your mind reorganizes, and your soul speaks more clearly. What started as a technique becomes a steady presence, a flame that doesn't burn to destroy, but to purify, reveal, and guide. Like the fires of ancient alchemists, this inner fire doesn't stay trapped in its furnace. It naturally rises like smoke seeking the sky. So once it's lit, it needs to be guided. If it gets stuck, it causes imbalance. But if it flows right, it moves through the subtle channels of your energetic body, waking up each center along the way. The first stop is the solar plexus. Though close to the cauldron, it's its own area, the seat of ego, self-esteem, and identity. When the fire reaches this point, it doesn't destroy, but transforms. Insecurities fade, masks crack, and a genuine will and clear purpose ignite, one that no longer needs outside approval. From there, the energy flows to the heart, the true altar of the human spirit. When the belly fire reaches the heart, something amazing happens. Desire blends with compassion, will with empathy. Actions come not just from goals, but from truth. The belly fire turns into a flame of love that can heal old wounds, open closed spaces, and bring kindness to what you do. If the fire keeps rising, the next stop is the throat, the center of expression. Here, the cauldron's energy becomes words, becomes creative speech. What you say no longer comes from reaction, but from connection to your deepest truth. Your voice changes, your words build instead of break, becoming sacred tools. Eventually, the energy can reach the brow or even the crown. There, the fire not only lights up the mind, but clears it, breaking down rigid thoughts, inherited beliefs, and fears you've picked up. What used to be conditioned thinking becomes intuitive insight, like a torch lighting a room that's been dark for years. And in that clarity, you remember who you are, what you're here to do, what to leave behind, and what to honor. But this fire doesn't just change the subtle world. It affects everyday life, too. People who awaken their belly center notice real changes, better digestion and energy, more emotional balance and less reactivity, the ability to stay grounded in chaos, quiet confidence and clear direction, a natural magnetic pull, sharper intuition and spontaneous creativity. None of this is random. It's the natural result of living from your center, from the inner fire that brings order to chaos, turns heaviness into light, and makes your body a living temple of awareness. There's a universal rule: what isn't directed gets scattered. The same is true for the cauldron's energy. If you don't guide it, it leaks into impulses, distracting thoughts, and fatigue. But if you learn to hold and raise it, it becomes your strongest ally. You stop chasing life. Life starts coming to you, because when your fire is lit, everything real is drawn to your center. That's the power of the cauldron behind your belly button. Not just energy, but a living reminder that you were made to shine from within. Awakening the cauldron behind your belly button isn't some isolated mystical experience or a practice just for monks or ascetics from another time. It's a way of living, a way of moving through the world with your feet on the ground and fire in your belly, a quiet commitment to live from your center, not from the edges. Here, I'm sharing simple practices and key principles to help you bring this fire into your everyday life. Because real transformation doesn't happen in rare moments. It happens in how you breathe, talk, choose, and feel every day. First, breathe from your belly, not your head. It sounds simple, but it's not. We live in a culture that's disconnected us from natural breathing. So every morning before you start your day, speak to your cauldron. Place your hands gently just below your belly button. Inhale slowly, sending the air there like you're inflating a quiet balloon. Exhale and feel the fire grow. Do this for 5 minutes when you wake up, not to get results, but to remind yourself where you are and who you really are. Second, nurture the fire, but don't overfeed it. Your vital center needs energy to stay alive, but not all energy is good fuel. Be mindful of what you take in, not just with your mouth, but with your eyes, ears, and attention. Avoid overloading yourself with constant screens and information that drain you. Every impression is fuel, and your cauldron processes it all. You decide whether to light it up or let it fade. Third, move from your center. Imagine you don't walk from your feet, but from that energy point in your belly. Feel your whole body align around that core. Practice this as you walk, cook, or talk. It creates deep grounding, a magnetic presence. You're here, rooted with gravity and fire. Fourth, live your emotions in the cauldron. When strong feelings come up, anger, sadness, fear, don't react right away. Bring them down to your belly, breathe there, and picture them melting away in that inner alchemical fire. Emotions aren't mistakes, they're raw material, and you have the fire to transform them. Fifth, create from your core, not from anxiety. True power always comes from silence. Before big decisions, new projects, or relationships, return to your center, breathe there, and ask yourself, is this coming from my inner fire or from my fear and lack? The answer will guide you like a sure compass. Living from the cauldron means living with purpose, groundedness, and clarity. You don't have to overhaul your whole life. You just need to remember that sacred spot inside you every time you breathe, every time you make a choice. Because when your energy flows from your belly, not your ego, everything you do carries strength and truth. The spiritual journey isn't always about reaching upward. Sometimes it starts by going down, sinking your awareness deep into your body, where your soul still remembers. Before we thought with our minds, we felt with our bellies. Before ideas, we had instinct. And in that center where it all started, the original fire of your being still burns. That center doesn't need beliefs, just presence. It doesn't demand complicated techniques, just honesty. It's not just for spiritual people, because really it's the foundation of all awakened life. Breathing from there isn't just an exercise. It's a way to come back to yourself, to choose every day, to live your body as a temple and your energy as an art. It's stopping the search outside what can only be kindled within. Know that everything you need, clarity, strength, direction, healing, comes from that sacred point inside you. The ancients knew this, and deep down, so do you, because you've felt it in moments of deep stillness, strong emotions, or sudden insights. That feeling of warmth, expansion, and vibration inside isn't a symptom. It's a signal, a reminder that the fire isn't lost. It's just been waiting. Waiting for your attention, your intention, your breath. No matter your past, your wounds, or your doubts, the cauldron doesn't judge. It only welcomes, transforms, and renews. You can come to it tired, scared, or lost, and if you breathe with awareness, it will give you presence, strength, and clarity in return. This is real alchemy. It doesn't change the outside world first, it changes you, and from that, the world changes. If what I've shared today resonates with you, don't just let it pass as a neat idea. Make this knowledge a practice. Let this fire be your guide. Breathe inward, fill your belly with light, and let that flame remind you of your deepest truth. You are the alchemist. You are the crucible, and you are the matter burning so it can be reborn. Thank you for opening your mind to this journey. Share this teaching with anyone who needs to light their fire. Subscribe to keep exploring the mysteries of body, soul, and universe. And next time you breathe in, don't rush. Breathe as someone offering air to their inner cauldron, as someone honoring their center, as someone who's finally remembered that the fire has always been home.